Have you ever noticed that from ancient armies to the biggest tech companies today, so many organizations are shaped like a pyramid? It's everywhere. In this explainer, we're going to break down why this hierarchical structure is so common, and more importantly, if it still holds up in our super fast-paced world.
I mean, really think about it. This structure is so universal, it's almost like the default setting for how humans organize themselves. But is it actually the best way to get things done? Or is it just what we're used to? Let's dig in and see why it's been the king for so long.
So, what is it exactly? Well, at its core, it's all about order. You report to one boss, that boss reports to their boss, and it just keeps going all the way up to the CEO. It creates this really neat, super clear chain of command that's incredibly easy for everyone to understand.
And here's the thing, pretty much every single aspect of the pyramid, all its good points and all its bad points, comes down to this one fundamental trade-off. It's this constant battle between maintaining order and stability versus the need for speed and flexibility. Everything we're going to talk about hinges on this balancing act.
So, let's start with the positives. What are the pillars that have kept this structure standing tall for centuries? Well, it all boils down to two things: clarity and control.
And you can see how these points all kind of feed into each other, right? A clear chain of command and well-defined roles, that naturally creates stability. And for employees, it lays out a very visible career ladder, a clear path for getting promoted, which, can be a huge motivator.
This quote just nails it. It gets right to the heart of the biggest benefit. When things go right, you know exactly who to thank. And when they go wrong, you know exactly where the process broke down. This crystal clear accountability is a massive part of the hierarchy's appeal.
But of course, those very strengths are what creates some really serious weaknesses. The same structure that gives you all that clarity can also cause some pretty frustrating cracks in the system. So what's the price you pay for all that ironclad control? Well, it usually has a name: bureaucracy. The very processes that are designed to ensure quality and control are the exact same things that can bog everything down in red tape, slowing the whole operation to a crawl. This is really the other side of the coin. That clear chain of command, it slows decisions way down because every little approval has to climb up the ladder. And remember that strong team cohesion we just said was a good thing? Well, that can lead to siloed departments that just don't talk to each other, creating this weird us versus them vibe inside the same company.
Okay, so we've seen the pros and we've seen the cons. Now let's do a deep dive into performance. How does a hierarchy actually perform when the rubber hits the road?
Hierarchies are fantastic for growth. You can always just add another box or another department to the org chart. It scales really easily. But all that size makes it incredibly hard to change direction. It's like trying to turn an aircraft carrier. Yeah, it can turn, but it's not going to happen on a dime. This chart really puts that trade-off into perspective. Look at that. You get incredibly high control, which is absolutely critical in fields like aerospace or medicine where mistakes can be disastrous. But that control comes at a direct cost to your speed, and your cost efficiency takes a hit because of all that management overhead. And this right here is a huge performance risk. Because so many decisions have to flow up to just a few key people, a single overloaded manager can become a massive bottleneck, holding up work for their entire team, maybe even other teams. The whole system has to sit and wait for one signature. Then there's the money. Every single layer of management, from supervisors to directors to VPs, adds a hefty chunk to the payroll. This administrative overhead is a really significant financial load, especially since these are roles that oversee work rather than directly producing revenue themselves. So this is a really critical question. How does this kind of structure actually impact your best people? Because for top performers working inside a hierarchy, the experience can be, well, it can go one of two ways. This quote just captures the dilemma perfectly. If you're a high performer who's patient and knows how to play the game, that corporate ladder is right there for you to climb. But if you're a creative disruptor, someone who just wants to move fast and break things, the constant need for approvals can feel completely suffocating. Even that accountability we praised earlier turns into a double-edged sword. On the one hand, responsibility is crystal clear. Love that. But the downside? It can create a culture of fear, where avoiding blame becomes way more important than actually finding innovative solutions. So, is the pyramid just doomed in our modern, fast-moving world? Well, not necessarily. In this final section, let's look at how this very traditional structure can actually be adapted and reinforced to work for the future. These are the key strategies to make it sustainable. It's really about injecting flexibility without creating total chaos. That means you've got to empower employees to make certain decisions on their own, actively hunt down and cut red tape, and, this one's crucial, build a culture where departments see themselves as one team, not a bunch of rivals.
At the end of the day, the goal isn't to totally demolish the pyramid. It's about creating faster, smarter pathways within it. You're trying to blend the stability you get from a hierarchy with the speed you get from a flatter, more modern organization.
And ultimately, it all comes down to the people. The entire structure, no matter how perfectly it's designed on paper, is only as strong as its leaders. Continuous training isn't just a nice-to-have, it's non-negotiable. You have to teach managers not just how to command, but how to coach and collaborate.
So that leaves us with this final thought. As we've seen, the pyramid gives you some undeniable strengths: stability, clarity, control. But it comes at a real cost to speed and flexibility. The big challenge for every modern organization is to figure out if this ancient structure is a solid foundation they can build on and adapt, or if it's just a heavy anchor they need to cut loose. It's the question every leader has to answer for themselves.